it's a good question. We are probably heading inching closer and closer. But I wonder if what President Biden said, it's more than he thinks that we are getting closer. It was a kind of a gentle nudge to both sides. We're not so sure we are edging closer, but we would like you to. And that's what the United States want, especially when the holy month of Ramadan is fast approaching, and without ceasefire, then it might make things much worse. At the same time, there are negotiations ongoing. It was in Paris last week. There are negotiations in Qatar right now. And it seems that at least on certain issues, for instance, the ratio between the number of hostages released and the number of Palestinians released, the length of the ceasefire, the number of lorries entering for humanitarian aid, they are getting closer. The question now is for both leadership, the Hamas and Israel, is what is their calculus in terms of their own survival.
Well, I guess that's what we're all asking. Can we kind of have an idea of what you think a ceasefire might look like and how soon aid can be delivered to civilians?
I think we should look at the situation right now, which is disastrous. In principle, in order to supply all the needs in Gaza, the people of Gaza, from a humanitarian point of view, there is a need of 500 lorries a day. Right now, the average in February is 98. And it's easy to make the calculation here, you know, how short is Gaza with basic supplies in terms of food and medical aid and the rest. So that has to be negotiated, make sure that the routes are open. At the same time, is to ensure that the hostages are released and then the prisoners in exchange. And I think both sides, it's paradoxical. In a way, both sides need it desperately, but at the same time, their political survival also depends what happens as a result of it. Now, the other question is, of course, within the negotiation, if there is an agreement on 6 weeks, of ceasefire, does it mean that the war resumes by the end of the 6 weeks, or actually this is only a passage towards something more permanent? And in this sense, Netanyahu's promise to eliminate Hamas, not going to happen, but at the same time, Hamas losing their best card of holding the hostages. So all this is basically enter into their calculations.
Well, Benjamin Netanyahu insists an assault on Rafah will go ahead, but he claims Israel will have a plan to evacuate civilians from harm's way. How would this be possible?
And that's the big question. Can right now 1.7 million out of the 2-3 million Gazan people, the Palestinians that live in Gaza, are basically internally displaced. Many of them moved a few times already from place to place. First from the place of origins in Gaza, and then to what was supposed to be safe havens that's not always been safe havens. Then the question, if Israel enter into Gaza, where are they all moved, and also in a safe way? And at the same time that Israel, are they allowing only women and children? Are they allowing men? If they're allowing men, they probably would like to ensure that they are not Hamas fighters or militant. So how long this is going to take? And at the same time, there is shortage of food and drink and access to sanitation. Is it not going actually to exacerbate? Now, the big question is whether, in principle, Israel wants to enter into Rafah and have its victory photo opportunity, possibly capturing the leading of Hamas. But also, what does it mean in terms of its own soldiers, losing soldiers in door-to-door fighting? What does it mean of killing many more Palestinians, including civilians, at the same time that the case of genocide is right now deliberated in The Hague? So there are a lot of complications. It might be between the tactical of putting pressure on Hamas to make more concession, but also with the decision to enter into Rafah, and by that also trying to create a corridor or more a barrier on the southern border of Gaza.
Well, Palestinian Authority Prime Minister Mohammed Shtayyeh has resigned. What impact do you think this will have on the governance of Palestinian territories going forward?
It is a very interesting development. For now, Prime Minister Shtayyeh and the government became an interim government. And probably someone else, probably Mustafa is going to be appointed as Prime Minister. I think it's a movement with an eye on the day after, when there is a ceasefire, and instead of more a kind of political government, to have a government of technocrats, people that will look into more the reconstruction of Gaza, building good governance, because there is a pressure by the United States to reform the PA. Palestinians themselves don't trust the PA. 60% of Palestinians said in a recent survey they want the government to go, and 90% actually said they don't trust President Abbas anymore. So this might be the first move into building not only good governance, but also trust with Palestinians, trust with the international community, and in the process also to look to mechanisms in which Gaza and West Bank are governed by one government and not two, as it has been the case for 17 years.
Professor Yossi Mekelberg, thanks so much for talking to us on The World Tonight. Really appreciate your time.
My pleasure. Thank you.